Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Welcome to another mouth-watering vlog. Boys, now by reading the title you know what is going on. Now today I'm going to be cooking a very special dish which I have not cooked before, and I'm going to go for it, boys. I've got some beef, prime beef Angus ribs. Wow, this meat is something else. So here we have the Angus beef ribs. We need to prep these ribs and get these ribs ready for the next stage, which is marination. Now before we're going to start marinating the ribs, what we need to do is we need to trim all the excess thick hard fat off, moving around the rib, feeling the fat, and we want to just take the fat off as much as we can, but it's mainly the hard fat. Now also another thing that you want to do is, as you guys can see here, this is called silver skin. This is a very thick piece of skin on the beef, which if you're gonna leave this on the beef, you won't be able to chew the silver skin. It's too tough, it never cooks. So it's always best to take the silver skin out, as I am taking the silver skin out here. Also you have smaller silver skins which you want to take out, because you want to bite into the meat and you don't want to have hard chewy skin in your mouth. We just want pure Angus beef, tender succulent meat. So this is how we're going to prep the beef rib. This piece of the meat that I'm taking off now, this is a very tough meat. This is not the part of the rib. This is like a skin-ish layer which is very tough, and it doesn't cook as tender as the ribs. We need to take this off. Now that the beef rib is prepped, it's time to add the spices to this juicy piece of meat. For the spices, I will be using some mustard. I'm going to be using some olive oil. You're going to need some salt, some ground zira, some tandoori masala, and also you're going to need plenty of ground black peppers. Now to start off with, we're going to salt the meat. So we're going to put a good amount of salt all over the meat. As you guys can see, this is a big piece of meat, so it needs plenty salt, plenty spices. We're going to move on to adding the zira. I want to sprinkle the zira all over the meat nicely, gently, with love, making sure that I've got a even layer all the way on the top and all the way around the ribs. Moving on to the tandoori masala, same thing again. You want to add a very generous amount of tandoori masala all over the meat, all over the sides, making sure to cover the whole piece of meat. Last but not least, the most important is the ground black peppers. You want to add a very generous amount of black peppers to the meat, so this is going to be nice, smoky and crispy on the outside, and inside the ribs are going to be nice and juicy. The meat is covered with all the spices. The meat has a nice color to it, but by adding ground black pepper, the whole meat has changed color and it's gone nice and gray and dark. That's what you want. You want a good coating of peppers all the way around the meat, so that's going to give it that crispy char barbecue flavor. You can cook this straight away, take it out, put it in the barbecue, the smoker or the oven, and start cooking it. That's something that I will not be doing. I will be giving this piece of meat 12 hours overnight in the fridge, letting all the meat suck in all the flavors, the juices, everything. Let that meat tenderize with all the spices. I will see you tomorrow morning when this big juicy succulent piece of meat is gonna go in the barbecue and it's gonna get cooked to up to 8 hours, making the meat juicy, crispy, succulent, and I'm telling you, this is gonna be the best ribs that you have ever seen. And trust me, look at that fireworks on the ribs. That's just to prove that these ribs are gonna be dangerous. So make sure you're still here. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow when we smash the ribs, baby. What a beautiful day it is. The sun is shining. I got my shades on. The barbecue is ready. Everything is ready. It's time to smoke these beef ribs. This is gonna be amazing. Trust me, these ribs are gonna come out juicy. They're gonna be succulent. They're gonna be tender, and they're gonna be full of flavors. Now to start off with, as you guys can see here, I've got my charcoal. The charcoal is ready. The charcoal is gonna be on the side, one side of the barbecue. On the other side, this is where I'm gonna be putting the piece of meat. Underneath the piece of meat, I've got a tray which is gonna catch all the juices, the fat drip, all the moisture, and that's all the flavors that we're going to be using later on, which is going to be added on to the butter. I've got some water here. The water needs to go in the barbecue as well to keep everything moist. So let's put the piece of rib onto the barbecue. You want to put the rib on one side like so, making sure there's a good heat. We want to cook this on an indirect heat, and then you just want to close the top and check upon this every hour, making sure the charcoals are not gone dead, and just feeding the charcoal, adding on charcoal, keeping that temperature maintained. It's been about half an hour. I just thought I'd check up on the meat in the barbecue. The meat is looking good. As you guys can see, the charcoal is good, the heat is there, everything is there. What I want to do is I want to add a good amount of charcoal to the barbecue, making sure that it does not lose heat. That is very important. Also, what you can do is you can add wood chips. You can go buy wood chips, but I like to use my own dry wood. Now by adding these wood chips to the charcoal, it's gonna cause a lot of smoke. That's what we want. We want the piece of meat to be nice, smoky, and you're gonna get all the flavors from the wood. As you guys can see, by adding the wood chip and the charcoal, the barbecue is really smoking now. That's what we want, and that's how we want to maintain this throughout the day for about 6 hours. Guys, alhamdulillah, it's been almost 2.5 hours that I'm smoking this rib. The rib is looking good. I need to check upon it. Let's open the top. Wow, that just looks amazing. The whole rib has changed color. It looks nice and charred. You can smell the smokiness in there. What I need to do is I need to obviously add more charcoal. I want to add some more wood to it, so the wood makes that nice smoky. And also another important thing that I need to do is I need to turn the rib around. Remember, the rib has 4 sides, so you want to put each side towards the heat every hour now. And the last but not least, which is the most important thing, we need to spray the rib with water. Now by spraying the rib, it's going to keep the rib nice, succulent, tender. It's not going to let the meat dry out, and it's just going to keep everything nice and juicy. The beef ribs have been cooking for 5 hours now. They are smoked all the way through, almost ready. Now next step, we need to get the butter ready so we can go on to the next process. I need to put the butter into the barbecue so it melts slowly and absorbs in all that smoky flavor. Also, I need to top the charcoal off by adding more charcoal. I want to add some more wood to it as well. I want to top the water off, and I want to give the ribs a nice spray of water and give the whole barbecue a nice juicy spray of water to keep everything nice and moist before we go to the next stage. beef is ready for the next step. I need to check the temperature. It's been almost 6 hours now. As soon as the temperature hits 195 degrees, the meat is ready for the next step. Yep, that is ready. I've got some foil ready on top of the greaseproof paper. I need to wrap this beef rib in this foil and greaseproof paper. So let's put the beef in first. Once the beef steak is in, we need to pour all of the butter all over the beef, covering every part, making sure that the beef is soaked with the butter and the beef sucks in all the butter. The more butter, the better. We need to wrap this up, foil it all up, leaving the greaseproof paper in there because the greaseproof paper is going to help keep everything moist. And now we need to go back into the barbecue on a low heat for another 2 hours. Here boys, we're going to open up the ribs. Now have a look at these ribs. Look amazing. You guys can't smell them, but they are looking amazing. The crust on them, on the top, the smoke layer in between the ribs. Whoa, can you see the layers? The ribs are juicy, the ribs are succulent, and these are gonna be gorgeous. What am I saying to you? Before even trying them, I'm telling you, I know that these ribs are gonna taste just amazing. Nice juicy rib boys. Watch what happens when I squeeze this. You see all that juice. Oi, 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 oi. All that juice coming out. I can't wait. I'm gonna go for the first bite, the big bite. Bismillah. Oi, oi. Yo, that beef is on the next level, man. Let me show you how juicy it is. Can you see that? Look at all that juice coming out. When you squeeze it, that's what you get. Oi, oi, oi. Boy, this is the best rib I've ever had in my life, and I think this is gonna be a regular thing now, you know. It's succulent, it's tender, it's full of flavors, it's juicy. Look how it breaks. Look at that, it just breaks apart, man. It's 8 o'clock now, and I started cooking 12 o'clock, so it's been 8 hours I've been cooking these ribs, and I'm telling you, these are the best ribs ever. Let me just show you. Let me take that off the bone. Look how it just comes off the bone. Look at that. Just call that meat off the bone. Guys, look how succulent that is. Look how juicy that is. I'm gonna put some of the famous chutney on there. It doesn't really need no sauces, but we're going for it. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. All that mint sauce. I just want to show you how. Look how the meat breaks. Look at that, it just breaks in your hands. Put some of that chutney on there. Succulent meat. Alhamdulillah boys, that's the vlog coming to an end today. I spent the whole day. I prepped at 11, started barbecuing the ribs at 12 and finished at 8 o'clock. So that's 8 hours of cooking time. And these ribs, trust me, if you want to follow this recipe and you've got time, trust me, you are gonna love these ribs. The recipe is just amazing, and these are the best ribs in the world. Alhamdulillah, all praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make sure to subscribe, like and share, and trust me, you guys have liked this video. You've liked it, so you need to hit the like button, and trust me, this video is worth a subscribe, so make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next vlog.